Welcome everyone. Today's project is a rifle and pistol dump box for multi-gun matches. I'm building 4 of these for a local shooting range, but the plan works almost as well if you're building just one at a time. The design needed to hold at least one rifle and a handgun, and of course be stable and safe. But the range also wanted them to be light enough that one person could transport and move them by themselves. Naturally, we're also on a budget, so we needed to keep the expense down. In other words, make them tough, light, and cheap. So no carbon fiber? Oh well. So I set about designing an easy to build plywood and 2x4 version using SketchUp. This is the third version of the design, with most of the changes being here in the leg joint, to prevent binding and increase strength. I'm feeling pretty good about the design, so let's get out to the shop and start our build. As interesting as it is to watch someone cut 2x4s, I'm going to skip filming that part and jump right to a list of the pieces, the hardware, and the tools you'll need to put this together. Start by filming your foot and then cut the back of the muzzle retaining panel and 2 foot supports from 1/2-inch plywood. The sides of the box are made from an 8-foot 2x4 cut in half, and the bottom of the box and leg pieces are cut from a second 2x4. The walls of the pistol pocket are cut from 1x2 spruce or poplar with 30-degree angles cut on each end. Hold everything together with a combination of deck screws, wood glue, and 3/8-inch bolts. Once you've made all your parts, you're ready to move on to assembly. Grab the plywood back so we can use it as a workbench for building the main box, then arrange the sides and the base using the back as a sanity check to make sure you grab the right pieces. Clamp one of your side pieces to the back just to hold it stable while you pre-drill and screw everything together. Imagine that happening now, and ta-da! You've got an assembled frame. Now with the frame on sawhorses with the beveled corners pointing down, lay your plywood on the frame, pre-drill a couple of holes in the short end, and then move everything over so you can apply some wood glue with the driest old bottle of wood glue you can find. This gives you the benefit of doing an upper body workout at the same time as you're building a project, so multitasking. Put the plywood backer back on very carefully, then starting at the 4 corners, drill and screw everything together, adjusting the alignment of the frame and the back as you go. Finally, drill and screw everything together around the perimeter. Until you are done. Now flip the box over onto its back in the first of what will be many upcoming flips, so we can install the muzzle retaining plate. The plate goes on the end of the frame without the bevels, and then use the same procedure as the back, applying glue, then pre-drilling and screwing, starting at the corners, and finishing up with one lone screw right in the middle. Now flip it over again so we can use it as a handy workbench for assembling the foot. Grab your pieces and arrange them, making sure that the bevels on the ends of these point in the same direction, and that the 2 side feet are on the outside of the bottom piece. Then use the same process of pre-drilling, gluing, and screwing the pieces together. It's not critical that you get everything aligned at a perfect 90-degree angle, just get it into the ballpark. If you cut your pieces right, there's plenty of leeway in the design for a little bit of misalignment. With the leg assembled, we can start to attach it to the main box. You want to be working from the end of the box that doesn't have the bevels. Position the leg, allowing about 3/8 of an inch or so between the bottom of the box and the base of the leg. And then turn the leg over when you realize you're about to install it upside down. Remember from the original drawing that the bevels on the ends of the leg should point in the opposite direction of the bevels on the box. Clamp the leg in place temporarily. You really only care about the position of this end since this is where we're going to drill and put the bolts through. Now measure 1 1/4 inches in from the bottom and from the end of the leg and make a mark. By the way, where did my gloves go? Pre-drill with a 1/4 inch drill bit before completing the hole with a 13/32 drill bit, or something just over 3/8 of an inch. Just before you drill all the way through, grab a scrap piece of wood and hold it inside the box. This is going to help prevent tear out of the 2x4 when you drill through. Now grab your hardware. For each side you'll need 3 washers, 1 hex bolt, and 1 nylock nut. Now you don't technically have to do this part. I was test fitting my bolts to make sure I had the holes large enough and decided to go ahead and just loosely put the nuts onto the bolts to hold everything together when I flip this over. You can just skip that part and flip your box over. Remove your clamps. If you did put the bolts in place, go ahead and take those out now. And then we're going to move the ends of the leg up so that we can expose the holes on the inside of the box. We're going to take our bolts and put 1 washer on the bolt and then slide it through so that the end of the bolt just protrudes from the inside of the box, enough for us to hang the washer on the end of it. And then we'll move the end of the leg down in position so that it catches the edge of that washer and keeps it from falling. While we've done that, move over to the other side, and then you should be able to repeat that process and then slide the leg up into place until the bolt can be pushed through the hole. Add your washer to either side, add the nylock nut, and then go ahead and tighten them down. I tightened them until they were tight and then backed them off about 1/8 to 1/4 of a turn, so that the leg would be able to move freely without binding. Now feel the burn as you flip it one more time. Position the leg vertically using a square to measure that you have a 90-degree angle, and then use a clamp to hold the leg in position so it doesn't move while you attach the leg stops. Mark a line 1 1/4 inches from the bottom of the box, and then use a clamp to attach your leg stops. Mark 3 locations for screws for your leg stop brackets. These don't have to be precise, just kind of eyeball them and get them spread evenly amongst the length of the leg stop. Pre-drill holes in the leg stop, and then once you've got that finished, remove it and thoroughly glue the backside where it's going to come in contact with the 2x4. Position it back into place on the box using the line as a guide, and then attach it permanently with screws. Repeat this process on the other side, and then when you've finished, remove the clamp from the leg and then test the movement of the leg to make sure there's no binding either against the body or interference between the leg and the leg stops. Not surprisingly, we're going to flip it one more time, but don't worry, we're on the home stretch. The last assembly step is to build our pistol dump area. Position the base of the pocket so that it's deepest on the left-hand side, and then the right-hand wall will nail in from the end. Clamp a scrap piece of wood to the bottom of the pocket to make it easier to align the pieces at an angle for nailing. Apply glue to the end of the side rail where it will come in contact with the base of the side rail, and then position it in place and finally tack it with some brads or finishing nails. I'm using a 2-inch brad, which might be a little bit overkill, but that's all that I had. If you do use something this long, make sure you test for depth and for wood split out before finishing tacking everything together. Now remove your clamps and position the completed gun pocket wall against the rest of your box, measuring to make sure that the right-hand wall is parallel to the 2x4. Mark a line with a pencil and then remove the wall. Because I'm forgetful, I'll also make some marks to remind myself which side of the line my box was on, and then on that side of the line I'm going to pre-drill holes that will attach the wall to the box from the back side. Align the wall back with your line and clamp it in place. Flip the box over one last time, probably, and you'll see that the holes that you pre-drilled make it very easy to find where your screw locations will be to attach the wall. Put in your first screw and then immediately remember that you forgot to put glue on the wall before you flipped it over, so take that screw back out, remove the clamp, Definitely don't flip the box back over because I promised no more flips, and by this time I think we can do this one by feel. Liberally apply glue and then partially screw your original screw halfway through until it protrudes from the bottom, which gives you something to align with the hole that's already in the wall of your pistol pocket. Then finish up by putting screws to the rest of your pre-drilled holes. Remove your clamp, brush off your sawdust with an ungloved hand for one last opportunity at a splinter. Okay, I lied. One more flip, but this is a good one because this is one where you get to take it off the sawhorses, sit it on the ground, and see it in action for the first time. I think this turned out great, and I think this is going to be a terrific addition to the range. It's light enough for one person to lift and maneuver, and yet it feels solid and super stable. Before you take it out and start using it though, you'll want to paint it to protect the wood against rain and humidity. Another great upgrade would be to add metal flashing or something similar to the bottom edges that touch the ground to keep them from getting chewed up. As for me, I need to go get a new bottle of glue and make 3 more just like it. I hope you enjoyed this build. I have quite a few more projects on deck, so I hope to see you back here soon. In the meantime, if you're thinking about doing a project you've never done before, just ask yourself, how hard could it be? See you soon.